The goats were not afraid of the hill. They were afraid of one exact piece of it. For 5 mornings, all 19 animals climbed the north slope, reached a crescent of blackberry canes, and stopped so suddenly the bells on their collars struck together. Not one goat crossed the line, not for grain, not for water, not even when Mara Vance walked through the brush and called them from the other side. Then, on the 5th morning, she felt it, a soft thud beneath her boot, a pause, then another, like a machine breathing under the mountain. By noon, Mara had cut through the thorns and uncovered the corner of a stone doorway buried in the bank. What she found behind it explained the goats. It also explained why 53 acres that had sold for $850 had once kept an entire hollow alive. And the strangest part was this: the machine had no wire, no motor, no fuel. Yet it had been working in the dark for more than 70 years. 6 weeks earlier, Mara had not been looking for a farm. She had been looking for somewhere cheap enough to keep 19 Spanish brush goats through the winter. The goats belonged to the only business she had managed to hold together after her father died, clearing neglected fence lines for people who could not afford tractors. They were stubborn, sure-footed, and almost impossible to embarrass. They ate multiflora rose, they stripped young locust, they climbed slopes that made skid-steer operators shake their heads. But the rented pasture Mara used outside Beckley had been sold, and the new owner wanted it empty before the first frost. That left her with 6 weeks. At the county office, a clerk slid a tax auction packet across the counter. 53 acres, no residence, no well on record, no active utility service. Back taxes greater than the assessed value. Opening bid, $850. The property sat at the head of a narrow hollow in southern West Virginia, beyond 2 washed-out creek crossings and a road that disappeared into weeds. The aerial map showed steep timber, one low meadow, and a strange open band running across the upper slope. The land use code caught Mara's attention. Orchard. She looked at the clerk. There are no trees marked on the survey. The clerk turned the page, frowned, and said the code was probably 50 years out of date. Most people would have stopped there. Mara did not. An orchard on a dry Appalachian slope required water. A lot of it. And there was no pond, no creek at the top, and no electric line anywhere near the ridge. Someone had solved that problem once. Mara wanted to know how. The auction room was nearly empty. A timber buyer walked out after seeing the access road. A local builder laughed when he read the soil report. One man whispered that the lower meadow swallowed machines. No one bid against her. When the gavel fell, Mara owned 53 acres for less than the price of a used livestock trailer. The first trip onto the property made the bargain feel like a mistake. The lower meadow was not a meadow. It was a sponge. Water surfaced around Mara's boots even though it had not rained in 4 days. A rusted length of pipe lay hidden beneath jewelweed. 2 broken axles sat in the weeds near the creek crossing. The only structure was the collapsed corner of a small block building with no roof. Blackberry canes stood higher than Mara's shoulders. Autumn olive had knitted itself into walls, and every flat place that looked usable from the road ended in rock, mud, or both. The neighbor at the mouth of the hollow, Roy Talbert, watched Mara unload the goats. He leaned against his mailbox and said, "That place has beaten 2 excavators and 1 marriage." Mara asked what he meant. Roy pointed toward the wet meadow. The first fellow buried a dozer to the frame. The second one found pipe everywhere and decided somebody had dumped scrap across the whole hill. His wife left before the recovery bill was paid. Then Roy looked at the goats. "Those things won't make land where there isn't any." Mara closed the trailer gate. "They don't need to make land," she said. "They just need to uncover it." For the first 10 days, the property fought her. She carried water in 50-gallon drums because the truck could not cross the meadow. She drove temporary fence posts between buried stones. She found old wire only after it tore 2 pairs of gloves and wrapped around one goat's leg. Every evening she left the hollow scratched, muddy, and behind schedule. But the goats worked. They opened tunnels through the brush. They exposed old fence corners. They cleared a path to the roofless block building, where Mara found rows of square openings along one wall and iron hooks set into the concrete. It looked less like a shed and more like a packing room. A week later, one goat pulled at a vine and revealed a rotted wooden sign beneath it. Only 4 letters remained. RCHD Orchard. The record had not been a mistake. It had been a memory no one had bothered to read. By the 3rd week, the hillside began showing its shape. Beneath the brush were long, narrow benches held by dry stacked stone, not random walls. Terraces. One curved around the slope for almost 200 feet. Another sat 20 yards above it. Then another. Mara found tree wells cut into the uphill edge of each bench, spaced with the kind of repetition that only comes from planning. Most were empty. A few held twisted trunks that looked dead. But near the western edge, one old tree still carried 3 hard green pears. Roy stared at it for a long time. "My grandmother used to talk about pears up here," he said. "I thought she meant wild ones." Mara cut one open. The flesh was dense and sharp enough to make her eyes water. Not a dessert pear, a keeping pear. The kind grown for cider, preserves, and winter storage. That was the first proof the land had once produced something. The second came from the ground itself. A line of small ceramic collars appeared along the terraces, each one buried beside a tree well. At first Mara thought they were drain fittings. Then she found one connected to a narrow clay pipe. The pipe ran uphill. Every answer on the property seemed to point in the same direction. Up. But the clock was moving faster than the clearing. Mara's borrowed fencing had to be returned in 3 weeks. Her trailer axle had begun grinding. The goats were losing weight because the brush was woody, and the water hauling took time she should have spent moving them. Then one of the lower drums split overnight. By morning, 80 gallons had drained into the mud. Mara stood beside the empty drum and did the math. A replacement tank would take the money she had set aside for hay. Hay would take the money she needed for the trailer. And without the trailer, she had no way to leave. That afternoon, she called a livestock broker and asked what 19 goats would bring at the fall sale. The answer was less than half what she owed on them. For the first time, the property stopped looking mysterious. It looked expensive. Mara walked the terraces at dusk, angry at herself for believing an old tax code meant anything. The goats followed until they reached the north slope. Then the lead doe, Pepper, stopped. The rest bunched behind her. Mara had noticed the behavior once before, but she had blamed a groundhog hole. This time, she shook grain into a pan and stepped beyond the brush. Pepper stretched her neck. She wanted the feed, but she would not move, neither would the others. Mara crossed back through the flock and inspected the ground. No fresh tracks, no snakeskin, no wasp nest, no broken wire. She pushed through the canes alone. Nothing moved. When she returned, the goats backed away from her boots, not from Mara, from the place where she had been standing. That was different. The next morning, the same thing happened. 19 goats climbed the slope in a loose column, reached the same invisible boundary, and froze. Mara drove a length of rebar into the soil to test for a hollow. 2 feet down, it struck something solid, stone, maybe. She marked the place with survey tape and moved the fence away. That night, rain hit the hollow hard. Water poured off the road and spread across the lower meadow. Mara slept in the cab of her truck because the creek crossing rose too fast to leave. Just before dawn, the rain stopped. The hollow became so quiet she could hear water dripping from the mirrors. Then came a sound from the slope. Knock, silence, knock, silence. Not a branch, not a woodpecker, not loose metal swinging in wind. The rhythm was too even. Mara climbed out with a flashlight. The goats were standing at the temporary fence, all of them facing uphill. Knock, pause, knock. The sound came from behind the thorn wall. Mara stepped closer. The ground beneath her right boot lifted so slightly, she thought she had shifted her weight. Then it happened again. A pressure pulse. Not strong enough to move soil. Strong enough to feel. She crouched and pressed her palm to the wet earth. The pulse traveled through the hillside at the same moment as the knock. Mara stayed there until daylight. Then she got the loppers. The brush was worse than it looked. Blackberry canes had woven through grapevine and young locust. Roots crossed one another like cable. Beneath them, Mara found a straight seam of dressed stone. She cleared left. The seam continued. She cleared down. A wall emerged. Not the roof of a buried tank. The face of a doorway built directly into the hill. At its center was a wooden panel black with age and banded by rusted iron. No handle remained. Only a square opening where a latch had once been. Mara slid a pry bar through it and pulled. Nothing. She dug around the frame, cut roots, and tried again. The panel moved half an inch. Cold air touched her face. The knock became louder. Mara stopped. A machine was moving behind the door. She called Roy. He arrived with a chain, 2 flashlights, and the expression of a man who expected to find either treasure or trouble. Together, they pulled the panel outward. Mud broke free from the frame. The lower hinge snapped. The door dropped into the brush. Behind it, 6 stone steps descended into a chamber no bigger than a garden shed. Water ran through a trench cut along the floor. A heavy iron pipe entered through the uphill wall. Another, thinner pipe climbed toward the ceiling and vanished into the stone. At the center sat a cast iron machine shaped like 2 drums joined at the waist. Every few seconds, a brass valve slammed shut. Knock. The pipe jumped. A tremor moved through the floor. Then water surged again. Knock, pulse, knock, pulse. The machine was not waiting to be restored. It was already working. Roy swept his flashlight across the walls. There was no wire, no belt, no engine, no fuel line, only water. On the machine's upper chamber, Mara found a brass plate beneath mineral crust. She cleaned it with her sleeve. Hollister Water Works Dayton, OEO Patent Series 1924. Below the plate, someone had painted a warning in white letters. Keep feet off delivery line. The words had faded, the reason had not. The pipe still kicked hard enough to make the floor vibrate. Mara looked at Roy. What is this? Roy shook his head. But he knew someone who might. The next afternoon, a retired mine pump mechanic named Amos Creed came into the chamber carrying a canvas tool bag older than Mara. He listened for 3 cycles. Then he smiled. Hydraulic ram, he said. Mara waited. Amos crouched beside the machine and pointed to the larger pipe. Spring water comes in here with speed. That valve slams shut. The moving water has nowhere to go, so pressure spikes. A little of the water gets forced into that smaller line. He tapped the pipe that climbed into the hill. That line can push water far above the spring without electricity. It wastes flow, but it works day and night. Mara looked at the machine. How long can one run? If the spring runs and the valves don't seize. Amos shrugged. Longer than the people who installed it. The spring entered the chamber from a fracture in the rock. It had been feeding the pump the entire time. Most of the delivery line had cracked, which explained the soaked meadow and the wet bands beneath the terraces. But pressure still reached uphill. Amos estimated the machine was lifting a small amount of water more than 100 feet in elevation. Not much per cycle, only a cup or 2, but the valve struck nearly 40 times a minute. Hour after hour, season after season, a little water became thousands of gallons. The next question was where it went. Amos used a listening rod to follow the delivery line. Mara walked ahead, cutting brush. The pipe crossed beneath the goat line, climbed between the terraces, and ended near a circle of hawthorn at the ridge. Inside the circle, they found a stone cistern 30 feet across. Its timber cover had collapsed decades earlier. The water level sat only 3 feet deep, but it was clear. A steady thread still entered through the old iron pipe. Mara dipped a jar. For the first time since buying the property, she was holding water that had climbed the hill by itself. The land had not lacked a water system. It had been leaking one in every direction. That changed the problem. It also deepened the mystery. The terraces had not been built for grazing. The packing room had not been built for livestock. The clay collars were not drains. They were irrigation outlets. Mara and Amos began tracing them. Each branch line fed 6 or 8 tree wells. Simple wooden plugs would have controlled the flow. When the cistern filled, workers could open one section at a time and let gravity carry water along the upper benches. No electric pump, no pressure tank, no municipal line, just spring flow, a hammering valve and elevation. Roy went home and returned with a biscuit tin filled with papers from his mother's attic. Among them was a photograph of the hollow taken in 1941. The north slope was bare. Rows of pear trees curved along the terraces. A water tank stood at the ridge. Men and women posed in front of the packing room with bushel crates at their feet. On the back, written in pencil, were the words, "Caney Fork keeping orchard 11 families." First full crop, the orchard had been organized during the years when coal work was irregular and cash was scarce. Families in the hollow pooled labor. One owned the spring. Another supplied mules. 2 brothers knew stonework. A machinist from the rail shops installed the ram pump. They grew hard winter pears that could be stored for months and pressed into cider. For almost 20 years, the orchard paid school fees, bought shoes, and carried households through layoffs. Then came blight, a late freeze, and a new highway that pulled the younger families toward town. The packing room closed. The water tank rotted. Property lines changed. The orchard disappeared under second-growth timber. By the time Roy was born, the terraces were just old walls. By the time Mara arrived, even the orchard classification looked like a clerical error, but the pump had kept striking. Knock, pause, knock, while deeds changed, while roofs collapsed, while roots broke the pipes, while everyone forgot why the hill was wet. The goats had not sensed danger in the ordinary way. They had felt the delivery line jump beneath shallow soil. Their hooves were more sensitive to vibration than Mara's boots. To them, the ground was not still. It was knocking back. Finding the pump did not solve everything. In fact, for a few days, it made the situation worse. The main delivery line was badly split in 3 places. The cistern wall had shifted. The lower meadow remained too soft for vehicles. Mara still needed fencing, hay, and a working trailer. And Amos gave her a warning. If you repair that line all at once, pressure could break the old branches farther uphill. You have to wake the system slowly. The property had survived neglect. It might not survive enthusiasm. So Mara stopped clearing new ground. She sold 2 unused panels from the roofless packing room. Roy loaned her a small water tank. Amos rebuilt the waste valve with a leather seal and machined pin. They repaired one section of pipe at a time, opened one terrace outlet, then waited. The first successful flow reached a stone basin above the goat paddock just after sunrise. The goats heard it before Mara did. They ran uphill, crowded the basin, and drank. No truck, no drums, no muddy crossing. Water had moved itself from the spring to the ridge and back down to the animals. Mara stood beside the basin with both hands over her mouth. For 6 weeks, she had been hauling water across land that already knew how to carry it. By winter, she had 3 working troughs and enough cleared forage to keep the remaining goats. By spring, the wettest section of meadow had begun to firm because the broken delivery pipe was no longer flooding it. The terraces dried unevenly. That was good. It meant the leaks were becoming controlled outlets again. Mara pruned the surviving pear trees. Most were hollow. 2 died, 4 leafed out. 1 produced a full basket of small, ugly fruit that kept in a cool room until February. An extension horticulturist identified the trees as mixed old rootstock rather than a single lost variety. They were not priceless. They were useful. Their disease resistance and cold tolerance came from decades of surviving without care. Mara grafted cuttings onto new stock and planted them along the restored benches. The goats worked between the rows, controlling brush without tearing the stone walls apart. The business that had begun as emergency grazing became something steadier. Mara used the herd to restore abandoned orchards and overgrown farmsteads across the county. The old packing room became a tool shed. The cistern became a gravity-fed reserve. And the ram pump kept working after Amos replaced only the parts that had truly failed. No one polished it. No one painted it bright. The mineral stains stayed. The iron stayed dark. The knock stayed loud. Visitors came to hear it. Roy, who had once said the hollow beat machines, began guiding people up the terrace path. He always stopped at the old goat line. Right here, he would say, 19 animals knew something we didn't. Mara never liked that version. The goats had not known what the machine was. They had simply paid attention to a signal people could ignore. That was the lesson the land kept repeating. The tax record said orchard, and people called it outdated. The meadow stayed wet, and people called it useless. Steel pipe broke mower blades, and people called it junk. Stone walls crossed the slope, and people called them ruins. And every clue was visible. The meaning was not. Years later, Mara found a second photograph in the county archive. It showed the same ridge after a summer drought. The hills beyond it were brown. The orchard rows were green. At the center stood the original water tank, full because a machine in a stone room had been trading falling water for lifted water, one violent little pulse at a time. The people in that photograph did not build a miracle. They built a system simple enough to run without electricity, patient enough to work by the cup, durable enough to outlast the families who depended on it, and quiet enough to be mistaken for nothing. Mara had bought the property because she thought something on the hill must once have made the orchard possible. She was wrong about one thing. It had not only worked once, it was still working. The hollow had never gone silent. People had simply stopped listening.